what is all of this? I mean, all right, fair play, it's all source, but how? How the fuck is all of this happening? Surely it must have started somewhere. Surely, if it's me doing it, I'd have some knowledge of the workings of this thing, and and as that's happening, as those questions are appearing, there it is. It's right there in them questions. It's them questions that are bringing it to life. You know what I mean? Whereas some people use the questions as, like a pursuit. And like, here's the question, now I'll follow it, now I'll get to this point, get to the next stepping stone, the next rung on the ladder, keep going, keep going, keep going, It's the questions themselves that are the source. No matter how hideously separate the questions feel, or I'm here as a separate individual asking questions about the universe and this and that and everything else. So that realization ends that. It ends that divide. It ends that duality, if you like. That separate me and God and the universe and everything. But it's a hideously, hideously horrific and frightening experience, losing the ego. So if you haven't lost your sense of separate identity, boy, are you in for a fucking shock.
Well, fortunately, a bucket fills drop by drop. That's the way it works. And the universe is fairly kind to those that are really, really, really want to know. But yeah, it can be very upsetting. There's the dark night of the soul that Ram Dass talks about. You can find it on YouTube, Dark Night of the Soul, Ram Dass, Ramdass. As I was going through that process, and as I would say, as you said, you cover your ass. Say, well, I'm still going through that process. I have oscillations. There are things that come up that try to get me sucked in like I'm watching TV. And, I'm aware of everything going on in the room and the TV. And then all of a sudden I get focused on the TV. I get hypnotized. I get sucked in. Well, that's what it's like, having an ego that seems to oscillate. There seems to be a self and no self. There seems to be time, then there's no time. It all depends on the level, what seems to be. Once you had an initial breakthrough, we'll call it a breakthrough, it's not something you soon forget. And the other thing is you can't really go back. It doesn't seem like you can go back, although that I've had amnesia. In my dream, a bunch of deaths where I was privy to remembering them. There wasn't anything to find in being dead. I'm talking about deaths as in the progression of bodily situation that one would ordinarily think that one is really cooked. One is going over any second. And then coming back. And coming back to the same dream, but I've noticed on a different level. It seems you don't get something for nothing. If you want to die some horrible ways and then come back to finish up, yeah, well, that's possible, I suppose. After all, we have to explain to the people that isn't the choir that you can make up any number of things for yourself. You give it the value, the meaning, the purpose, whether you like blue or you hate green, or you like this or you don't like that. It's a big fucking buffet which coalesces into an individual so-called self. Now, it's not this or that, it's this and that. That's what I've discovered. So you can have that initial experience that like is the awareness in the background, and you can also have your cake and eat it too, but you're no longer totally taken over by the mesmerism, the hypnotic state, okay, of being a separate self and all of that. And you can also, on a different level, also respect other people, just like you were taught to respect your elders, or to respect women, or to respect everybody's rights. Now, to say otherwise and to do otherwise means you're just being an asshole. I mean, you accuse me of of putting people down, but it's an act. You see, very few people understand the act, so I've had to explain it a number of times because they don't get it. There was one day where I actually took the time to explain the Mr. Bridges character. And there was a newbie in the room, and he said, I'm really, really glad that you explained it to me because now I can actually enjoy it. Whereas I thought you were attacking this person, that person, all that stuff. Well, all I'm showing is how the ego works and the ridiculousness of it. But evidently, I don't make enough references to that because people get sucked in the act really hardcore, big time, because they think of themselves as a person. So it's like they're fighting with the person on the TV. Ever talk to the radio or talk to the TV? Do you ever get so involved in what's being said on the TV you find yourself yelling at the TV? Okay, you're one of those people that's really fucked. You're like totally in illusion. You totally don't get it when you're in that space. And it's a little stretch for people, like somebody that goes to a theater and they say, okay, we have several different plays. One was written by blah, blah, blah. And another one was written by blah, blah, blah. And then there's one that is being produced as improv. The characters on the stage don't have a script. What they've been given is the basic idea of the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and how you're going to leave the audience. You're going to take them for a little ride, but it's all improv. Now, a lot of people don't even understand what improv is. What it is that there's a character that is playing and acting a part with all of the stuff that characters and actors and actresses have at their disposal, which is their real emotions, their real feelings, their real experiences. And if you're really good at it, you act it. Doesn't mean that's what you are at the time, folks. But you see, if people aren't aware of that, since they don't think cyberspace, the new medium, is a stage, they've never even entered their minds that the new medium, which is Pal Talk in this case, is a stage, a cyber stage. They don't even think about it because they've been programmed to believe it's a chat program where you go in and you talk to other people. They're not used to it. They don't know anything about it. Hi, Joyful. They don't know anything about it, so they're programmed. Just like the people that are yelling at the characters on the TV. They're so involved in it. Or they get pissed about the news report, or they get pissed about this, or get pissed about that. They don't like what they call reality. And it's not even reality, it's a fucking story. It's a fucking story. But they don't see that because they're so fucking stupid, or because they're in La La Land, or because they don't have the wherewithal to see what's going on. There's no fucking money, folks. Hello? There's no money. The Queen of England, supposedly a person, a woman, that's in a position of owning the whole fucking world. She's got billions of dollars. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out and feed the starving kids? If you're Bill Gates and you go, okay, I'm a philanthropist, I want you guys to all hail me and consider that I'm so good, I'm a good person, I've got billions of dollars, okay, today I'm going to buy $30 billion worth of food for the kids. It's on the house. Now you can fucking finally eat. Well, kids, you fucking idiots, where's he going to get the food from? You're probably like some of those kids in New York City that think that vegetables are found at the grocery store, not grown on the farm. You're fucking idiots. There is no more food today. $30 billion will merely redistribute the food that exists. Hello, dummies. And then this fake monetary system will say that if you take all the food with $30 billion worth of food, where are you going to get it from? If there isn't any more, guess what? Supply and demand that we were taught about as kids. The supply is dwindling. Guess what's going to happen to the food prices, you stupid motherfuckers? It'll skyrocket through the roof. Yeah. That's only one angle. There's shitloads of angles to that. It's a big fucking scam. Do you know that the billions of dollars that they say they have that they're not using is not creating any action, which is what money represents as a trade-off for action, for value received, and somebody has to value it? When the government spends all that money on defense, what are they defending? What are they defending? Think about it. Billions of dollars for defense. What are you defending? What the fuck are you defending? Defending the right to have control of the rest of the folks, where you've deluded them into thinking that money is actually something when it's not. Well, what do you mean it's not? If you don't have any money, you can't get fed, you can't have housing, you can't do this, you can't do that. Right? Well, you know what? There's more than one angle to this, kids. And it's like any belief you want. You can say that you've got to have it and believe it. Then you can say that it isn't man's money that I need, it's the supply from God. But you don't believe it. You don't believe it. You don't see it. So if you don't see it, you're like doubting Thomas. You're like folks who subscribe to the law of attraction. They tell you right up front that you got to seek the kingdom of heaven first, but they call it the vortex. They tell you that you got to get the feeling of like having supply to have it show up. That's a neat trick. That's a neat trick. If you have the feeling of supply so it shows up, guess what? You just got the feelings before you got the supply, and trailing it is the supply, and judgment says, well, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't want a flat screen TV like this. I wanted one that was twice as big. I didn't want a woman like that as significant other. Her nose isn't as pointed. Her tits are better shaped. I didn't want the this. I didn't want that. A fucking bunch of judgment. If you've got the kingdom of heaven within you, how far are you from it? You've cluttered it with all kinds of fucking stupid beliefs. A bunch of crap. If you have that state of consciousness, you can enjoy a cup of coffee with a moron. Because you don't. There's nobody there to order the way it comes in and how it's going to come in and how it's going to be, because there's nobody to acknowledge anything. It comes in as source, because as you get closer to source, you become more like source. You enter the kingdom where there's nobody home. Nobody. It's a trick. Don't go there. You're going to lose everything. You're going to lose your identity. You're going to lose your story. It's all a wash. You're going to end up like Panacea that went through that. You might even be caught there for years, where you go, what's the use? I don't have to create music. I'll just listen to it. Well, hey, listen, you can be a music appreciator, or you can be the creator. You could be the one that loves to create music for listeners who appreciate the creation, but don't claim it's yours, you idiot. Give the credit to the source, because as soon as you take it for yourself, as soon as you say the word mine, lose your love. Lose the creation. Lose yourself. Fucking twats. Fucking idiots. Now, I suppose if I said that in a nicer voice and I didn't call everybody twats, and I didn't call them cheap motherfuckers and actually expected donations at thoughtbridge.com, and I just changed my evil ways, probably it would work a lot better. And I could act like everybody else and kiss ass and probably get away with a lot of deception. But I'm already deceiving everybody because I'm not what you think I am. But what you hear is what you think I am, and therefore you think this is a guy that's all fucked up, has no life, is a loser, is making up all these stories, and there's no truth whatsoever to him. And you'd be absolutely right. Would you? Would you? You think you know so much. Judging little mind's hard to get rid of, isn't it? That judge belongs to the ego or belongs to God. Fortunately, when it belongs to God, it blesses everyone, even hard times that you go through. Can you imagine for a moment that there is such a thing as a creator and everything is for your benefit? Everything. All the pain, the suffering, the murder, the genocide, everything. Well, I know it's not exactly the way it is, but you guys like stories, so let me continue. Imagine, if you will, that each body is a strand, like an octopus tentacle, like a finger, that's sensitive. And you know your fingers are sensitive, right? But this octopus represents the massive brain that octopuses have, right in the middle of their tentacles that reach out. And that's God. And you're one of the tentacles. And some of you are its asshole. And then some of you are its mouth. That's one analogy. Or you could take a brighter view, a less drastic view, and say, well, you're like the light. You can't be seen, but your form is seen. You got idiots out there that think that you're a form and you're a body and you're an age and you tell a good story. And so that's what they think you are. Not realizing the breath that blows into the tuba and the sound that comes out of it is the air, the source. Like the electricity that lights the church or the whorehouse. But you guys, in your egos, thinking of yourself as apart from that source, either being an appreciator of the music or a creator of the music, both are required. You can both create and appreciate. Not only the work that comes through you, but the work that comes through everybody else, and it's from one fucking source. Now, if you see that, there isn't a right way to do it or a wrong way to do it. Can you imagine the intelligence of the universe always one step ahead of you and your development in discovering all of the stuff that's available for you to discover until you finally wake up and discover your God? Isn't that merciful? Huh? Oh, panacea, fuck you. I don't have it at all. There's nobody to have it. Let alone you telling me that there's a Joel that almost has it, you stupid fuck. Wait a minute, I was doing so well. What was the word that I was up to 50 on? I forget. I want 51. What was the word? Can you tell me? What was the word? Idiot. You idiot. Ah, there's 51.
So, what are you trying to tell me, Joel? Are you trying to tell me that all of this is due to God? Everything, even the most scary circumstances, the most horrible feelings within the body and mind, and all the attachment from identity, it's all God, right? Every last bit, every last molecule, every last word, every last bit of food that goes into the mouth and through the digestive system and out your ass, all the hot air that's coming out of my mouth now, the listening, the sound that's going into your ears. Are you telling me that all of this is an expression of God? All of this nature, this universe? Yeah, is this like God's mirror? God's mirror. So that there's nobody to wake up here, is there, Joel? There's nobody to wake up to that realization. Because if God is everything, Joel, then God is as much mysterious and frightening as it is dynamic and beautiful. You see what I mean? It's when there's any kind of